Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the TechZulu Penthouse here at Real Office Centers in Santa Monica. And we are in the midst of Silicon Beach Fest with so much sunshine and luckily shade. So I am now joined by Martin Price of Productsy. So Productsy apparently says create mobile products faster. So how can I create mobile products faster with Productsy, Martin?
Well, there's a couple of ways. So how we start is by serving APIs to which people can build on top of. Those APIs contain functionality around content, social, and search. So if you're building any apps that have a social component, either with login, user accounts, or if you're trying to build an app that has search functionality that's more advanced, you can build it all on top of the infrastructure we've built already and deployed for multiple partners. So you save a lot of time, you save a lot of money, and you can still customize your app and make it your own on top of that. And then we work with companies to improve their mobile products. And we do that by accelerating their development, testing new products, and then bringing them to market.
What are you seeing in terms of trends with mobile right now? Are there certain types of apps that people are using Productsy for? Are there certain verticals?
Yeah, so we specialize in social and kind of enterprise and the kind of mix between those. So we do a lot of work around we've seen a big trend around niche social networks. So you're wanting to create a network around like tech enthusiasts, for example. You might want to have your own app for that. You might want to have your own posts. You might want to have your own kind of way to SMS people and have them discover that app. And again, we kind of expose those services, so we tend to look for more partners that then benefit from it. And then in the enterprise side, lots of interest in building new, kind of more interesting kind of UI, UX on top of enterprise apps. So, you know, the enterprise moving to mobile, it's being driven by consumers now in organizations, right? So we're able to kind of work with companies who want to then build apps on top of that. So, for example, searching across multiple cloud services for files, documents in a fun way, using like image-driven facets and things like that.
It's interesting to hear you say the enterprise piece, because that has been something we keep hearing at TechZulu over and over again this year. Is it's the year of enterprise on mobile. But do you think that, or are you finding that there's some pushback? Are there certain reservations that enterprises have as it relates to moving over to mobile?
Yeah, so I think there's a couple of things, right? So with the enterprise, there's concerns around security, right? There's concerns around, you know, being driven by their users to a little point, right? And, you know, I think the good thing is there's a great history in LA of kind of good enterprise companies. There's some great developer talent.
Here we go again. Everyone thinks there's no enterprise in LA, but there are so many enterprise technologies in LA.
Yeah, and my previous company was funded by Clearstone, who are nearby, and they helped us with this company incubate us in their offices. So they actually took us in. They didn't invest in us because we're a more cash-driven business. We're a profitable business from day one, but they gave us support and mentoring, and they introduced us to companies in their portfolio that they've grown and exited, that were in the enterprise space. So we brought some of that talent, you know, that we had and then worked for those companies, and now we're trying to produce basically an enterprise product. Even if it's developers, it's still enterprise to a point, right?
Do you think that we'll ever reach a point where we won't need the APIs? I mean, are we going to have at some point just one cohesive platform as it relates to mobile?
Yeah, so I think that's something we've been talking about today as well. So for me, I actually think the screen is going to go away. Right, so
really?
Yes.
That's the first time I've heard that. You think the screen is... Okay, you've got to explain this now, because everyone's touch, and it's the screen.
Yeah, and everyone's looking at their phones, right? So think of, I think it was, Sergey Brin talking about Google Glass, right? And his thing was it's inconvenient. Actually, I think he said it's emasculating, which was wrong, but to take out the phone and look at it. So if you think about, like, what we were talking about today is they demoed, there's some functionality coming around about you take a pill and it stores your password and your identity. But think on top of that, like if you authenticate with a bunch of cloud services, I could go up to your phone, log in with my ID, and access my content, my information. I can look at a TV and I could see new, I could see my Instagram photos, right? I could see videos. I could see any kind of content. If I'm wearing glass, and we've been testing glass and playing with it, I could look at my corner of my eye and see my tweets or someone tweeting me. I don't need anything to look at. I can just go around and experience that without looking at a device. And that's cloud services, right? Those services, and if you're in, like I spent a long time at Yahoo building kind of products that we thought were in the browser and around the browser. And that's gone away. That's the fun thing. The browser, for me, the browser is dead. Desktop's kind of on its way. What instead is everyone's building cloud services, and then it's a case of, well, how do you make them super compelling and interesting?
And we obviously want that holy grail, if you will, I hate that word, but of our content, getting our content anywhere we want, in whatever form we want. So I like this notion you're saying of being able to look at a TV monitor and see, you know, your photos there, or with Google Glass being able to see something on maybe even a glass surface over here, who knows?
Yeah, any sort of like a wall, right? For example, you could say, hey, I want to check my email. Why do I have to take out a phone, enter my code, then go to my app, then load it? Like as a product guy, you're always reducing steps. And the reality is I can log in your laptop and check my Gmail in a couple of seconds. And then if your laptop, anyone could recognize me, it's kind of facial recognition thing, then I can just log in and do it. It removes like 20 steps from looking at my phone.
But I don't want to take a pill.
And the chip in the arm is the other one.
Yeah, no, that's way too 666 sort of to me. I don't like the idea of that.
Minority Report.
Yeah, it is a little bit scary.
I think
you like the chip?
I think the chip, the problem is upgrades, right?
I mean, I'm a cyborg. I've got like mesh in my belly, but like that was because I needed an operation, not because I wanted to have my data here. Ugh. No.
But maybe you wear it like in another way, like
something I can take off, please. Something I can take off.
The foot bracelet, but that's a bit like kind of prison. Yeah.
Well, excellent. Are there any companies right now that you're working with that you want to mention or that would be relevant?
We're working with a bunch of kind of interesting startups and companies here and also in the Bay Area and the East Coast. So, I mean, some folks we're working with, there's an app coming out really soon in the social recruiting space called Candyfish, which is really interesting, a new way of kind of finding, if you're say you're hiring developers or new talent for your company, you can do it online via social networks, not using HR.
I want to know who comes up with the names for these apps. I mean, I doubt that you did, but I think of Sugarfish, which is more of the sushi place, and those two words kind of scare me together. And Candyfish? Where did that name come from?
Fish. It's kind of cool. There's an app called Glimmer we're working with in the Bay Area. They're coming out really soon, which is a new kind of social networking app. And we're working with folks like My Life here in the Bay Area, here in LA rather, to improve their mobile search experience and work with them on mobile. So lots of stuff going on.
And finally, you've been quite involved here with Silicon Beach Fest. I know you're on a panel this morning. Any highlights from that you want to share?
Actually, the hackathon was great. So I don't know if you had any coverage there, but we had 3 of the hacks and the 3rd best hack running on our platform, which was awesome. And we gave away a prize and we did a tech talk. And we're going to try and do more events around that soon. So go to Productsy.com or check us on Twitter at Productsy and find out more about what we're doing.
And lastly, because we are here in Silicon Beach in Los Angeles, you've been part of the LA tech scene here for a number of years, worked at Yahoo and whatnot. What are you thinking about the scene now? How has it changed? What stands out for you? You were here amongst all of our peers, and lots of folks are in town for this. Give us your state of the market, if you will, of LA tech.
Oh, great question. So for me, I mean, I've been here a few years, and I've, obviously from London, and then I was in San Francisco for a while. So I think the cool thing with the LA tech scene is unsexy companies are becoming kind of fashionable, and no kind of celebrity endorsement, no entertainment endorsement necessary. Companies who do good products and do them well. There were a bunch yesterday at the demo session. I think that's what proves there's a really healthy and emerging tech scene. Not that the parties are full, although that's kind of a given, but that there's really good products that people want to use and that solve a user need being built. And, unsexy companies be like us who provide services for those companies, right? And who are doing real technology are getting traction, and I think that's a great thing for the LA tech scene, because then that can get picked up, and then you can still have the celebrity endorsement, the entertainment, but it will just grow the industry and make it more credible.
And what do you think is supporting that?
Well, a few things. I think generally, and I spoke about this today a little bit, is the cost of developing is kind of really reducing, right? So people like us who provide services means if you've got an great idea for a mobile app, and we work with lots of people who come to us and tell us that, and we love that, right? A lot of the functionality you need, we've already built, so you can utilize it, and instead of paying like thousands of dollars for a developer to develop it, it's like couple of $100 a month, right? And there's a bunch of other people in this space. Then kind of UX, UI tools, you can wireframe your apps like online really cheaply if if not free, right? And that gets you a long way, right? Having thought out wireframes and, just playing with other apps, doing that and being able to build on top of APIs means that you've reduced your development time by a lot. Right, so I think what I see the trend is that people are going to be able to build lots more kind of new ideas faster. The only flip side is our attention spans are going to get shorter and shorter.
Well, that's been happening anyway with our mobile devices.
Well, exactly, and then you think it was Vidi last year, and now it's Snapchat, right? And but that cycle is going to get shorter and shorter and shorter. So the services that I use have to be better and better and better. So the tricky thing with that is you need as much functionality, kind of as much bang for your buck with what you're building as possible. The good side is there's loads you can leverage from. You don't have to, like you did 5 years ago, build from scratch, right. Which is great.
I find that answer fascinating because I expected you to say there are accelerators here and there are co-working spaces here and there are all these things that are popping up in LA. But what you're talking about actually is there are supporting technologies. There are things that are enabling more companies to do things faster, do things better, not just in LA, but everywhere. So thank you. That's really exciting.
Great.
Wonderful. So everybody make sure that you check out Productsy. And this is Martin Price, and I am Amanda Coolong here at Silicon Beach Fest in Los Angeles.